We're at Gamescom 2016, and a game that's not quite new, but is newly announced, and fully announced, I should say. Little Nightmares used to be known as Hunger, for those who were keeping up with Tarsier Studios. First of all, what's it like to finally sort of let us have a peek at what kind of game this is?
It's two feelings really. One is this kind of short thing that we've been working for on this game for a couple of years now, and to finally be able to show that, it's amazing. But for some of us that has been working for more than 10 years at Tarsier, it's bigger than that. This is the reason why we founded the company. So it's an amazing feeling.
It is, and it's nice to see this game. And you know what I thought of was that yes, it harkens back to sort of the origins of Tarsier, but it also feels like you're bringing some of the stuff that you learned along the way. Like there's a little bit of Little Big Planet in there as well, right?
Yep, definitely. I mean, there's definitely a combination of new experience that we have, new learnings, and of course our old stuff, but very much new stuff. I mean, if you compare this to City of Metronome that we showed like 10 years ago, it is a completely different experience. It's a completely different game, but still you can see that it's Tarsier.
And from Little Big Planet, I think things like texture is something that it feels like you've borrowed a little bit here.
Yeah, and I think the whole sense that everything kind of does something is the tactility that we've been really keen to accentuate in the game. That you can grab hold of something and maybe it does something cool, or maybe it's part of a puzzle or anything. There's just a real kind of joy in the world around you that I think is shared by both.
Of course, this is a brand new setting, something we're very unfamiliar with, and I guess that is sort of also like at the core of what this experience is about, is exploring this world and learning about it. But what can you tell us at this point in time about the narrative, about the world that we're experiencing here?
I wouldn't actually want to tell you too much. As far as the narrative goes, there's no dialogue in the game. It's a story that exists in the world itself, and that's been really kind of an interesting approach for us. Is to infuse everything in the game world, all of even the design, the audio, everything is infused with this story that's going on, and we really want you to look around, and like we've said already, that this world is it's full of things to do and see, and it isn't there by mistake, So the story is there for you to interpret, if you like.
I think it's nice that you have these yellow hoodies on. It's not quite what Six is wearing. She's got this yellow raincoat that sort of obscures her to the player as well. Can you tell us like the design choice of that? It's very iconic, so it's nice in that way, but what's the significance of sort of keeping her a little bit secretive?
There are a couple of things. I mean, it is the whole narrative part of the game that it's for you to kind of interpret and understand more and more throughout the game. The kind of iconic part of it, it's actually more Pelle's, our art director's choice of how he wanted her to look like. But there is one really big thing to it, and that is when you look at her and you look at the environment she's in, she's not supposed to be there. And that's a very important part of her design.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I was going to say that one. You just stole my answer. No, I mean, I think like you said about the shape of this iconic shape, I think it's really nice that you, even from a distance, just as a silhouette, these very simple shapes that she's kind of constructed of, if you like. And so yeah, you always know where she is, and in a sense, you know she's not supposed to be there. This is what I would say.
Well, it's always good to iterate on stuff that's
exactly.
important, right?
To really hammer home that point.
So another thing that's interesting about the game is, of course, we've talked about the visuals of 6, but yes, the visuals of the whole place is very interesting. It's got this sort of weird underwater machine, sort of dank and damp, and it's just discomforting, right?
Yeah, I'll let Dave take this because
Yeah, it is. That's the whole point. It's grimy. It's supposed to. It kind of, to me at least, it suggests it's been doing it for a long time. This isn't like a new shiny structure. This is just something that clearly lives beneath the waves. It's kind of, and that's another thing that I think is really nice. Maybe it's not part of your question, but the whole fact that it is kind of mostly under the water. There's something that there's a distortive effect there, and it's a very kind of in the background feeling that you get, but for me it's there at least, is that you're looking at this place and it's hiding, and it's distorted as well by where it is, and I think that's something that I enjoy at least.
You mentioned like some of the dangers here are sort of things that would appear in your mind normally, but to 6 they're real here. What's with that, and what are the dangers here?
the whole idea, like Dave said during the presentation, is to emphasize or personify the kind of visions or how children would see things, and let us re-experience it as players. So that maybe that wasn't your question actually, but that is really important to us. That to kind of show what she sees, basically. Yeah.
And it's real to her then.
It's definitely real to her, but it is kind of in between, anyways.
There's a dreamy feel to it, but it's not like you're not just in a fantasy land, and it's not like completely real. That's again the whole design of the place. It's real but not. So there's like a skewed, appearance to everything. So I think that really lends itself well to this place that's maybe caught between worlds, if you like.
So without, of course we have to make some comparison, but what's the structure of the game? I mean, it strikes me like something sort of similar to maybe a Limbo or an Unravel, in that sense that you're progressing, or is there a different structure to it, more open-ended, or what's...
I think first and foremost, it is a linear, single-player, very strong and intense experience, first-hand experience, or first-time experience. But the way that we've designed the game, it is for exploration. So you go back and forth, you have the depth to play with, and all these kind of details in the environment, which hopefully makes people interested and wants to kind of look, what is that over there? And I hope that players will kind of, take a step back and what's going on here, really. Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like a game where those secrets are sort of like a gem that you're collecting 50 of in the game, or anything like that.
No, it's not. It's not. Well, there's this. We wouldn't call it replayability. It would be more like you read this book once or seen this really good movie, and you really want to experience it again. And the second time, you find these other small details that you didn't find the first time.
Maybe a word that you emphasize differently, things like that. Very cool. You also have announced now the platforms and sort of a release window. Just to iterate on that, when's it coming out? What platforms?
It's going to be out on PSN, Xbox Live, and PC, spring 2017.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.